Dear students, I welcome you to this English class for semester 2, a unit titled A Treatise on Good Manners and Good Breeding. It is my third talk on this unit, A Treatise on Good Manners and Good Breeding. Earlier, I talked about the author's opinions on good manners and good breeding. What he intends to convey with regard to good manners and good breeding, the difference between good manners and good breeding. He also talks about the ceremonial behavior, where ladies try to recite and the kind of treatment shown to others, and how people are subjected to various kinds of problems due to lack of good manners, and how good manners play a pivotal role in one's life, and how they vary from formal situations to informal situations and where they are to be applied. So these are all various issues I talked about in my last class. In my today's class, I am going to discuss the ongoing text, of course, the remaining part of the text, the rest of the text, which was uncovered in my earlier sessions. So before I begin, have a look at the text part, which was left incomplete in the last session. And in continuation to the last session, a text part is shown here. Let's have a look at it and talk about it and discuss and learn as to what our author Jonathan Swift talks about good manners and good behavior. An additional input given by the author. Look at the text. I make a difference between good manners and good breeding. After having discussed both these aspects in the text, here he makes a difference. He differentiates between good manners and good breeding. The difference between these two. Although, in order to vary my expression, I am sometimes forced to confound them. In order to differ, vary in his own expressions, in his own opinions, he is sometimes urged and forced to refute. Confound here, underlined word means refute, to prove that something is wrong. It means confound. In order to differ his expressions, vary his expressions, he is sometimes forced to refute. This is what he explains here with regard to good manners and good breeding. By the first, I only understand the art of remembering and applying certain settled forms of general behavior. At the outset, in the very beginning, he understands the art of remembering. What is required for application of any thing in life, real life, is memory. Good memory is important. Art of remembering, good memory. That is one aspect. And another thing is applying them. Mere learning good manners is of no use unless it is applied where it is required. This is a very important aspect. The general behavior, certain settled forms of general behavior, they are to be learned, acquired, remembered, and applied. These aspects are to be remembered by each and every human being for a smooth going life. But good breeding is of a much larger extent. For besides an uncommon degree of literature sufficient to qualify a gentleman for good reading, a play or a political pamphlet, it makes in great compass of knowledge. Here, he makes a discrimination between good manners and good breeding. An author opines that good breeding is much greater, more difficult, more complex than good manners. Good breeding when a comparison is made, a discrimination is made between these good manners and good breeding acquires more significance. It weighs more. For besides an uncommon degree of literature, to sufficient to qualify a gentleman for reading a play or a political pamphlet, it takes in great compass of knowledge. Though a lot of literature is available to qualify a gentleman, either for reading a play or a political pamphlet, a great compass of knowledge is required. A lot of knowledge is required to support the arguments to support the arguments in favor of good breeding. No less than that of dancing, fighting, gaming, making the circle of Italy, riding the great horse, and speaking French, not to mention some other secondary or subaltern accomplishments which are more easily acquired. Here, author mentions a series of activities, series of things as to prove his point, to defend his point that good breeding is greater than all these kinds of things listed out here. They include dancing, fighting, gaming, making the circle of Italy, riding the great horse and speaking French, and not to mention some other secondary things, various other secondary things, which cannot be mentioned here, of course, are subaltern, secondary. Accomplishments means completion of tasks. To complete a task implies accomplishment, which are more easily acquired. Jonathan Swift intends to convey the point, highlight the point that these things can be easily acquired. Dancing, fighting, gaming, making a circle of Italy, riding a horse, speaking French, and many other secondary things. They can be easily acquired through efforts, through practice. But breeding is much more difficult. It is of a much larger extent. It requires more domain. This is what Swift wants to convey through these lines. So that the difference between good breeding and good manners lies in this, that the former cannot be attained by the best understandings. So the difference between good breeding and good manners. Here he means to convey that former cannot be attained by the best understandings. Former here in the sense he has made a comparison between good breeding and good manners. Here good breeding is stated first. It is said to be the former one, previous one. Good manners comes second. It is said to be a later one. Former, later. That comes before is said to be a former one. That comes later is said to be a later one. Former, later. L-A-T-T-E-R, later. So that the difference between good breeding and good manners lies in this, that the former cannot be attained by the best understandings. Good breeding cannot be acquired, cannot be learned through best understanding without study and labor. It cannot be attained by understanding without proper study and labor. We have to put lot of labor. We have to study, analyze, and make a critical analysis and take it in an analytical way to understand it. So cannot be attained by mere best understandings without any kind of study and labor. In the absence of study and labor, it cannot be understood. Good breeding cannot be understood. Whereas a tolerable degree of reason will instruct us in every part of good manners. Whereas when we take up good manners, as far as good manners are concerned, degree of reason takes its primary role, takes its importance, gains its credence with regard to the good manners. Whereas good breeding is not like that. Unless we study and labor, work hard, strive, we cannot understand good breeding. This is the difference between good manners and good breeding according to Swift. Tolerable degree of reason will instruct us. Reason. It is reason that is to be taken into account when we are talking about, when we are discussing good manners. without other assistance. I can think of nothing more useful upon this subject than to point out some particulars. And as far as the author's knowledge goes, his perception goes, as far as his understanding is concerned with regard to these two, good manners and good breeding, I can think of nothing more useful upon this subject than to point out some particulars. He can point out some particulars. He doesn't get more than anything else to analyze or to make a critical analysis of this one, wherein the very essentials of good manners are concerned, the neglect or perverting of which doth very much disturb the good commerce of the world. If the essentials, what are the essential requirements? What are the most needed things for good manners? If they are neglected, if they are perverted, diverted, pervert here in the sense divert in a very bad manner towards something evil, very much disturbed, they very good commerce of the world will be disturbed. It will harm the commerce of the world, business of the world, by introducing a traffic of mutual uneasiness in most companies. He has taken, he cannot get more ideas than to emphasize on this. He has taken the example of companies, for example. Companies, it is almost mutual uneasiness will prevail. If reason is not shown, if proper reason is not shown, if logical thinking is absent in business, they find quite uncomfortable. A kind of discomfort prevails in the companies. They will be disturbed. They are prone to collapse. They are subjected to destruction. And this will affect the whole nation. This is what Swift means to convey here. First, a necessary part of good manners is a punctual observance of time at our own dwellings or those of others, or at third places, whether upon matter of civility, business, or diversion. And another important point he has added with regard to good manners is punctuality. Punctuality is something which is related to maintenance of timings. Here, ignorance of timings. Time plays a very crucial role. Time once spent cannot be taken back. Time is precious. Time is valuable. Lot of values attached to time. And if we take the example of successful people, take for example of scientists, great scientists who strive every nerve to invent something. You take the champions, world champions in any sports or games, every minute, every second, every millisecond also plays a crucial role. And time is such a thing which is a very important thing in one's life. But unfortunately, observance of punctuality is lacking in society. And they take this in a very lighter way. Most of the people, majority of the people in society neglect punctuality. They ignore the scheduled timings. It has an adverse effect in every field. So that is why Swift wants to emphasize here the necessary part of good manners. Good manners are reflected through our punctuality. If we are very punctual, whether it be at our own dwellings, in our own houses, whatever kind of thing it may be, whether we are at home or in office, whether we are attending to our own personal work or others' work, how much punctual we are, how much strict we are, and how we adhere to the timings, that is very important aspect. Or those of others are at third places, whether upon matter of civility, business, or diversion. You take anything, whether it is the matter of politeness, punctuality is important. Whether it is business, punctuality is important. Or diversion, or anything for that matter. He has taken various examples here. But the necessary part of good manners, the important, inevitable part of good manners is the punctuality. This is what Swift intends to convey here. Our punctuality reflects our good manners. Good manners are part of punctuality. Punctuality is an essential part of good manners. Which rule, though it be a plain dictate of common reason, yet the greatest minister I ever knew was the greatest trespasser against it. He has quoted some examples here. Though it be a plain dictate of common reason, of course, we come across various instances in society. The greatest ministers, people of higher hierarchy, of course, we find the rulers of the society. They are said to be rulers of the society, and they are elected people, most responsible, who are said to be the most responsible people, accountable for various kinds of ills in the society. Our author Swift has come across a greatest minister who was said to be the greatest trespasser against it. Trespasser, one who enters another's land unlawfully, is said to be a trespasser. Trespassers are not allowed. This kind of board is displayed in front of the important offices. Trespasser is prohibited. So he has come across the greatest minister who is said to be the greatest trespasser, by which all his business doubled upon him and placed him in continual area. If the person who is responsible and accountable, who is answerable to others, is himself a trespasser, how can he talk about good reason, good manners? So, the responsible persons, at least, everybody is expected to be accountable for each and everything. Everyone is responsible. Everyone has his own role to play in the successful accomplishment of anything, successful completion of anything, for a smooth conduct of any program, or for the growth of a nation. You take anything for that matter. Everyone is accountable. When the lawmakers become lawbreakers, like the greatest minister who is mentioned by Swift, they are said to be lawmakers. When they themselves become lawbreakers, how can we expect good manners from others? This is a very important aspect we have to think here. It is for us to think of ourselves. Upon which I often use it to rally him as deficient in point of good manners. When the lawbreaker, the greatest minister, they make laws, he himself is a lawbreaker. Lawmaker is a lawbreaker there. And why does it happen? Why does this kind of situation arise? It is due to lack of good manners. In whichever position one is, whether he is the Prime Minister of India, or President of India, or a minister, or a governor, or a collector, or any position for that matter, it is not the position that matters there. Position is immaterial there. It is temporary there. But observance of punctuality is important. Breaking of law is always breaking of law. It occurs due to lack of good manners, whoever he may be. Rule is rule for all, whether he is a lawmaker or any ordinary man or a superior man of high rank. I have known more than one ambassador and secretary of state with a very moderate portion of intellectuals execute their offices with good success and applause. He has also quoted, he has taken the example of the greatest minister who has proved to be a trespasser. And here he is also quoting the examples of ambassadors, the secretary of state, who are in high position, superiors of course, with very moderate portion of intellectuals, various other intellectuals, ambassadors, secretaries, and they were executing their offices with good success. They were performing their duties. They are attending their duties and winning applause from the people of all sections of life. Applause means appreciation. When does one get appreciation from others? When one has good manners. When one sticks to one's good manners. When he follows good manners, he wins applause from others. Applause is not something, appreciation is not something which can be purchased in the market. And we need not aspire for appreciation from others. Appreciation comes in its own way. When what we do, what we execute is good, when what we execute is acceptable to all, we'll get applause and appreciation without being invited. This is it is an unwelcome thing, of course. We should not crave for appreciation, but it will come in its own way. He has cited the example of the greatest minister. Out of his own power, authority, he maintains there. He has proved to be a trespasser. And here he has taken the examples of ambassadors, secretaries of state, and intellectuals who are all executing their offices very successfully and winning applause by the mere force of exactness and regularity. The reason here is they are winning they prove to be successful people because of their punctuality and observance, exactness and regularity. Regularity, exactness, they play a very crucial role and they prove to be successful people. This is what he makes a comparison here between the greatest minister and on one side, ambassador, secretary, intellectuals on the other side. How they have proved to be what kind of people in the society. If you duly observe time for the service of another, it doubles the obligation. Service for others, observance of time. Time is a very precious thing. If you observe time for the service of others, doing service to others by strictly following service, punctuality, following punctuality, it will double the obligation. If upon your own account, it would be manifest, folly as well as ingratitude to neglect it. If upon your own account, if we apply these observance of time to our own self, it will reflect our own foolishness, as well as it is also ingratitude. If we neglect punctuality, it is thanklessness. If we observe punctuality, it is thankfulness. This is what Swift means to say here. If both are concerned, both in the sense, if it is in our own case or in others' case, to make your equal or inferior attend on you, to his own disadvantage, it is pride and injustice. If both are concerned, to make your own equal or inferior to attend on you, to his own disadvantage, it is pride and injustice. If you apply these things to others people, if you allow others without your following, it is pride and injustice. We should first primarily try to follow timings and then insist on others. When we don't follow, we don't have any kind of right to ask others to follow punctuality. This is another important point. It is, if we do such kind of things, it is pride and injustice. Ignorance of forms cannot properly be styled ill manners. Here, Swift intends to convey what he means is, most of the people we come across in society, why do they have ill manners? What might be the prime cause of their bad manners? Bad manners. It may be because of bad breeding, of course. It may be because of various other causes. Who is bothered about the causes? Who is bothered about the factors? Ignorance of forms, whether you know about it or not, you are supposed to know. Ignorance is not an excuse here. Ignorance of these forms cannot be styled ill manners. If somebody misbehaves, if somebody tries to hurt others, harm others because of his own ill manners, we cannot excuse them on the basis of ignorance. It cannot be styled ignorance because of ignorance. As a human being, as we are part of society, we are supposed to know, we are expected to know. We are social human beings. Whether you are brought up like that or not, we have to read books. We have to observe others. There lies one's greatness. Because forms are subject to frequent changes. Observance is important. A keen observation of the affairs of others. We are part of the society, we have to observe other people also. Other comparisons are also very important, of course. Constructive purpose. For a constructive purpose, comparison is not wrong. And consequently, being not founded upon reason are beneath a wise man's regard. Reason, everything has got its own reason. Being not founded upon reason are beneath a wise man's regard. If anything, ill manners, bad manners, if there is no reason, if it is quite unreasonable, illogical, it is beneath, it is lower, it is in the lower position of a wise man's regard. Besides, they vary in every country. These things also, good manners, of course. In general, we talk about good manners, good breeding, of course. There may be certain slight differences between one country and the other country based on their own cultural differences, language differences, and customs and traditions. These things may vary, but they are not the whole differences, of course. There are slight differences may be there between one country and the other country. And after a short period of time, very frequently the same, so that a man who travels must need be at first a stranger to them in every court through which he passes. We find various kinds of travelers. When we are traveling by mistake, unknowingly, we may come across a few mistakes. It does not come into the category of ill manners, of course. It happens since we are strange to that place. And that is what he means to convey here. So that a man who travels must need be at first a stranger to them in every court through which he passes. A traveler is always a stranger. A stranger may be quite unfamiliar with the goings on, the customs of the place where he has visited, traditions of the people. Unknowingly, he may err. He may go wrong somewhere. This cannot be taken into very consideration as a very serious error at all. And perhaps at his return, as much a stranger in his own, and after all, they are easier to be remembered or forgotten than faces or names. So, when Swift intends to convey, he means that here, when we are traveling as part of our journey, we may commit some mistakes, of course, unknowingly, because we may come across the problems of language, customs, traditions, or strangeness because of some strangeness, or unknowingly, we may commit some errors. And they can be easily forgotten. They need not be remembered because though they come under the category of good manners and good behavior, it has occurred as part of our travel unknowingly. So they can be ignored. So this is what he means to convey. And that's how he says that they vary, differ from one country to the other country. For the time being, they're subject to change. Indeed, among the many impertinences that superficial young men bring with them from abroad, this bigotry of forms is one of the principal and more prominent than the rest. And we talk about the bigotry of these forms in various forms, of course, related to good manners. Somebody who is returning from abroad, somebody coming from other countries, foreign countries. Abroad means foreign countries. Prominent here means important. We come across these kinds of situations. Who look upon them not only as if they were matters capable of admitting of choice, there is a scope for admittance of our own errors there, but even as points of importance, and are therefore zealous on all occasions to introduce and propagate the new forms and fashions they have brought back with them. And they are zealous on all occasions. We can be enthusiastic, zealous in the sense enthusiastic, on various kinds of occasions to introduce or to spread the new forms and fashions they have brought back from other countries. So that, usually speaking, the worst bred person in the company is a young traveler just returned from abroad. So that is why the worst bred person in the company is said to be a young traveler. A young traveler, since he is very young, unaware of various forms of things, who is a stranger and who is unknowingly committing some mistakes and who has returned from other countries. And there is a sense of excuse as far as these people are concerned. And this is what means to convey. And Jonathan Swift has made a discrimination between good manners and good breeding. And he has also talked about the ceremonies and behavior in formal situations and informal situations, the kind of behavior to be shown with superiors, equals, and the people who are below us. And he has also referred to the importance of punctuality on the other side, how time plays a very important role, how observance of time has got its own due recognition, due importance, and how the observance of time also reflects our good manners. So, after having discussed all these kinds of things, our author Swift concludes the essay by speaking his own views about the beautiful thing that is required for each and every human being for the successful growth and progress of any nation or a family or an individual human being. Good manners and good breeding are very important. And after having discussed all these kinds of things, we have also come across some unknown words in this part of the text in today's session, and I have underlined them while going through the text. Since we cannot discuss them then and there itself, though we refer to the meaning there, I have given the list of the glossary here. Let us have a look at them. Vary. Vary means differ, discriminate. Confound means to refute or to prove something wrong by argument. We try to prove others to be wrong through an argument. It is said to be refuting or confounding. Besides, while talking about prepositions, I have discussed the difference between beside and besides. Besides is a preposition. Beside means by the side of. The collector office is located beside forest office. His shop is located beside provisional store. He stood beside his father. Besides means in addition to. Besides English, he can also speak Hindi in addition to. These two are often confused by most of the students and learners of English. Subaltern. Subaltern means subordinate or particular. Accomplishment. Accomplishment means English for accomplishment. We have given a title to our textbook. English for enrichment for the first and second semesters. English for accomplishment. Completion of a task is said to be accomplishment. With a hope that you will complete this process of learning English language. Perverting. Divert. Pervert means dwelling. Dwell means live. Dwelling means a living place. Trespasser. One who enters a place unlawfully into the land of others. Deficient means lacking. It's an adjective form. Applause is a noun form, which means appreciation. He has won applause from all sections of people because he has proved to be right in every aspect. He has talked well. Since he has talked well, he has won applause from all sections of people. Manifest means easily understood. It's an adjective form. Folly, lack of goodness, good sense, foolishness. It is said to be folly. Ingratitude, gratitude, ingratitude. Gratitude means thankfulness, ingratitude means thanklessness. Inferior, to feel low of oneself. We come across two common words, superior, inferior. Superior means to feel high of oneself. Inferior means to feel low of oneself. Superior and inferior both are adjectives. Superiority, inferiority. We talk about superiority complex, inferiority complex in society. We should feel neither superior nor inferior to others. Nobody is superior to others, nobody is inferior to others. We are all equals. Abroad, foreign. Here we have to learn one more principle while learning this word. Abroad is not preceded by any preposition. He is going abroad. We say like that. They are going abroad. They are staying abroad. Not they are staying in abroad. Since the context demands, I am also explaining this thing. Abroad is not preceded by any preposition, whereas foreign can be preceded. They are staying in foreign countries, returning from foreign countries. Foreign can be preceded by a preposition, whereas abroad is not preceded by any preposition. Bigotry. Bigotry in the sense stubbornness, obstinacy, or devotion to one's own opinions. Some people are very stubborn. They are very adamant, unyielding. They stick to their own opinions. And they never try to deviate. They never try to pay any kind of attention to others' opinions. They never even listen to others' opinions. Others talk. They are said to be bigots. It's said to be bigotry. Here Swift has made a mention of bigotry in as part of the text. And prominent, important, significant, zealous, zeal, zealous, enthusiastic. Zeal is a noun form, zealous is an adjective form, enthusiastic is an adjective form, enthusiasm is a noun form. He is zealous about learning English. They are enthusiastic about the results. Propagate. Propagate means spreading. Spread from one part of the world to the other part of the world. It is said to be propagate. So these are some of the words which we have come across in as part of the text in today's session. And after having learned vocabulary, if you just have a look at the 3 sessions which we discussed on good manners and good breeding, you will get an idea as to how good manners are important for the successful life or a tense-free life in one's life, or how we can contribute something to our own society through our own families, through our own individuality, through our own attitude. That's a very important thing we have to bear in mind. Because another important thing is we are not learning good manners for our own sake. Ill manners or bad manners, which we possess, which we stick to, which we try to argue and defend, they will definitely have an adverse impact on society and family. This is a very important point we have to bear in mind when we are discussing good manners and good breeding. Whatever might be the reasons of our own ill manners, bad manners, our brought up may be the reason, our thinking process may be the reason, or our mode of thinking may be the reason. Whatever may be the reason, nobody worries about your brought up, of course, but your ill manners, your bad manners, or your ill breeding, it will definitely reflect on others. It will definitely affect others. We should take care that we are not living for our own sake. We are living for others' sake. We are meant for others' sake. And we should not try to suffer others because of our own ill manners. And Jonathan Swift has made a very critical analysis about the importance of good manners and good breeding here. He discriminates between good manners and good breeding here by citing various kinds of examples. He has taken the examples of secretaries, he has taken the example of ministers, he has taken the examples of various other things, taken the examples of our own superiors, people of equal rank, and the people who are below us. Whatever kind of people we may be associated with. And he has also made another important principle which is related to good manners, that is the punctuality, importance of punctuality. How the greatest minister was a trespasser who is a lawbreaker but became a lawbreaker. He has also taken the examples of ambassadors, secretaries, and various other people who have won appreciation, applause from all kinds of people because they have been executing their duties very regularly by sticking to the scheduled timings, punctuality. It is their punctuality that has made them win a place, win applause for all kinds of people. So these are all various kinds of aspects Jonathan Swift has covered in the very, very interesting and beautiful essay, which is very useful for the progress of any nation and family. And hope you have followed my talk on good manners and good breeding, and hope you understand it. So in my next class, in continuation to this one, we will also take a few comprehension passages or any language aspects related to this lesson and discuss them. So with this, I will conclude today's session and meet you again in my next session.